it's time for another British Guy Reviews American Beer. And today we're not reviewing a beer per se, but we are answering a question. And the question is the Alchemist Heady Topper better from a glass or from a can? Now you may remember that I did a kind of side-by-side review of Heady Topper, and I put it against Russian River's Pliny the Younger. And one of the interesting things there was that I drank Heady Topper from the can and I drank Pliny Younger out of a glass. Now, did I get the right comparative review by doing that? I don't know. But on the top of the Heady Topper can, I'm sure you can see that it instructs you to drink the beer from the can. And I said at the time that this was almost counterintuitive and a little bit strange. So what I did, I poured a little bit into a glass, and just so that I could get kind of a look at the beer and get an aroma from the beer. And then I drank from the can and used that for my review. Now, when I switched the camera off, obviously I had a bit of beer left in my glass and quite happily chugged it down. And I was kind of interested at the time that the taste of the beer was quite different from what I'd experienced out of the can. And I didn't know if that was because, you know, it was 15 minutes later and the beer had warmed up in the glass, or if there is genuinely, you know, a difference between drinking the beer from either a glass or the can. Now, I haven't really researched the reason behind Alchemist instructing to drink from the can. I've got some theories about, you know, obviously, if you're drinking from a can, you're not breathing the aroma of the beer to the same extent, and that will change the flavor profile. Because, you know, obviously, as we're drinking, there's all kinds of different elements that contribute to what we're experiencing from the beer, and one of those is the aroma. The appearance is another one we sometimes drink with our eyes, and I did see a couple of mentions of the fact that inside the can of Heady Topper, quite often there's a few little bits and bobs floating around, and that may contribute to people not necessarily thinking it's a really appealing beer when it's drunk out of a glass. Now, I don't mind a bit of sediment in my beer, so that's not going to put me off. So I thought what would be interesting was if, you know, last time the beer had sat in the glass for maybe 15 minutes, and that would have changed the profile. But now, what happens if I, essentially drink the two side by side? Will I notice the difference? Will I prefer one or the other? And will I agree with the Alchemist that Heady Topper should be drunk from the can? So, only one way to find out. So I'm going to pour, you know, I've got a little taster glass here. Don't know if you're from the UK, you might recognize the brewery logo there. For the US viewers, this is a little taster glass from Cloudwater Brewing, one of the very, I would say, foremost craft breweries in the United Kingdom. If you get a chance to drink Cloudwater beer, I would definitely jump at that chance. So give that a nice, let's say, vigorous pour. And we have managed to make a little bit of a mess there, but at least we're going to get a good aroma off this beer. So second time drinking Heady Topper. The first time was obviously that first review. So aroma-wise, out of the glass, I get a kind of combination of citrus, kind of orange, grapefruit, and I also get some kind of tropical, not so much, maybe some stone fruit, some mango. I will have a smell of the can, just to see what I pick up. And as you would expect, you just get a much more muted aroma from the can. It's kind of funny to sit and sniff the opening of a can. So because I've got the aroma off the glass, I'm going to drink from the glass first, so I get that kind of consistent experience rather than go to the can and then back to the glass. Again, it smells absolutely delicious. Straight to the can. Straight to the can. This is not necessarily a let's pick up all the tasting notes and compare. I really want to know, which do I prefer. They're not a million miles apart. I kind of get a little bit more of a. Well, I'm gonna drink from the glass again just before I finish that sentence. The beer feels softer out of the glass. I get, yeah, up front the flavor profiles are pretty similar, but on the back end when I drink out of the can, I get a much more pronounced bitterness, and I can't necessarily explain why that would be. That's one difference. And the second difference, which is kind of what I picked up after I did the review before, was that out of the glass, I feel like I get more of the flavors that the yeast is contributing to the beer. And maybe that is that kind of combination of smelling the beer and drinking it at the same time. The kind of the fruity citrus notes that you get from drinking from the can, for me, are much more hop driven. And out of the glass, the kind of the hop element is a little bit softer because it's kind of balanced off with more of those kind of a little bit of breadiness, a little bit of a little bit of kind of tropical fruit esters that I think are coming from the yeast and rather from the hops. So overall, it's kind of a more rounded flavor profile out of the glass, but the intensity for me is much stronger and honestly much better out of the can, which is kind of interesting because, like I said, when I did the review originally, it feels kind of strange to be asking to drink certainly a hoppy beer out of the can because we think of all of those elements contributing to the overall experience and enhancing the experience of the beer. So to take or to moderate one of those, which in terms of the aroma and the visuals, it's kind of interesting to think that that will result in a better drinking experience. It could be that I'm just influenced by the fact that the Alchemist is telling me I have to drink out of the can. Um, I hope that's not the case. What I will say is, out of the glass, out of the can, this is a truly exceptional beer. And I think I said this before, now that I've had the chance to drink Heady Topper from a can, I am determined that I will make the trip to Vermont and I will drink Heady Topper as fresh as I can get it direct from the brewery. It's an absolutely tremendous beer. It's an absolutely delicious beer. So I rated it last time. I rated it a 4.6 out of 5. This is not, as I said, this is not so much a beer review or a beer rating, but yeah, my rating stands at 4.6 out of 5. And for me, I'm going to say I slightly favor drinking this beer out of the can, which again, very strange, kind of goes against what I thought I would think. But equally, tremendous beer both ways. So I hope you liked the video. As always, please comment, subscribe, and like. And let me know what you think. I'm going to go and read some forums now about what other people think about Heady Topper and whether it's best to drink it from the can or from a glass. But it would be great to get some comments from you guys. Have you tried kind of doing the side by side? Have you drank it from a glass, from a can? What do you prefer, and what do you think the reasons are for that? So again, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.